Who's your emergency contact? Who should be notified in case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. When you first enter the feds, and I just speak the Fed because, like I said, I've never been in the state, but I'm sure every penitentiary works the same way. When you come off the bus and hit the yard, you declare yourself, hey, I'm Asian, or I'm a Sereno, or I'm a Norteño, or I'm a Blood, a Crip, so on and so forth. And once you declare yourself, your people's going to come over there. They're going to take you around, introduce you, help you get situated, find you a cell to stay in, and they're also going to put a care package together for you. Sometimes the care package might be big if you've been in the system already and people just know you got transferred from another prison and they already know who you are, your background already checked out or whatever. You might get a big care package. But if you're just coming off the bus and you're brand new and they're still waiting to do your background or whatever, they're still going to give you a care package. They're going to make sure you got hygiene, shower, shoes, a little food, and maybe a couple books of stamps. Stamps is the money in the prison so that you can get around until everything gets situated. On top of that, they're going to give you the politics. They're going to tell you, hey, this is who we align ourselves with. We get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We work out. Whatever that group's program is, they're going to lace their homies with it. And the other thing they're going to tell you is that don't accept anything, especially if you're new to the system. If you're brand new to the system, they're going to tell you, man, don't accept anything from anybody. That ain't your homeboy. And there's a reason why they do that. But through the course of my bid, time and time again, these dudes, we call them fishes, that are first timers in the system, they think they know better than the rest of us. Just like when you're growing up, your parents tell you, don't do this or it's going to lead to this. But us, as youngsters, we think we know better. And then 25 years down the road, like myself, I'm like, oh man, I should have listened to my parents, right? So, just like out here in the streets, you got these predators that try to get at these kids. They lure them in with candies or, hey, come over to the house. I got a bouncy house. I got some trampoline. You can come play. I got video games or whatever. The same tactic applies in the prison system. When somebody rolls up on you that you don't know and they're of another race or whatever and want to befriend you just out of the blue, you have to be wary of that. Because if anybody's anybody, and I'll just speak on myself, when there's a new dude in the block, I collect the information on who he runs with, who's his homeboys, this and that. But I'm not going to go talk to him. I'm not going to go kick it with him and chop it up with him until one of his people introduce him to me. Because we all know in there, just because you got on a yard, don't necessarily mean you're going to stay. And there's a grace period. Usually it's between 30 and 90 days where whatever group you're running with is going to do a background check on you. And for me, I don't really talk to nobody on the compound until you've been there a few months, 4 or 5 months, 6 months, because by then I'm going to assume that your people have already checked your background and have already cleared you to be able to let you move around and do whatever. But even then, I don't go make friends unless somebody that I know is like, hey man, this is my homeboy. I fuck with him. He's a good dude. This and that. That's the only way I interact with people. I don't try to make no new friends because, I would always like to say that, people in the USP, they carry themselves with a certain type of integrity, a certain type of standards. But the truth is, I'm going to say 70, 75, 80% don't meet the threshold, So I don't want to be just like trying to be making friends with somebody because I'm always moving around. I'm always doing things and I don't know who the fuck you are And if I don't know you, if you've never been introduced to me, and you come and try to kick in and try to holler at me, that's a red flag for me. Because for me, it's gonna seem like you're trying to gather information and trying to find out shit that you don't need to know about. So I know everybody on the compound. I know, most of the people on the compound, but as far as interaction, dealing with, or whatever, it's just a handful of people. That's why I've been over through my whole bid. I've been locked down for investigations. I've done like 6, 7 months, 2 years in the shoe under investigation. But every single time, they've never been able to put anything on me because I don't operate in a way where somebody can tell on me. They can suspect me of doing things, but they've never caught me with no dope. Through my whole 20-something years incarcerated, I've only got one dirty for marijuana, but I'm high every day. I touch everything that comes on the yard. I've never got caught with a package or anything like that. And the only time I ever got caught with a knife was when I had to use it to put in the work. And, that's whatever, right? So I tell the people when they come, hey man, don't let nobody fucking give you anything. Don't accept anything from anybody. But again, men are going to do what they're going to do. Some people take that to heart and they listen, and other people think they know better than the rest of us. So the story I'm going to share with you was in Beaumont. And Beaumont, at the same time, they called it Bloody Beaumont because it was really bloody. Everybody was getting chopped off in Beaumont. But there was another name that once you lived there that you kind of used too, and that was called Booty Beaumont. Because Beaumont, from my experience being on the West Coast, coming from Lompoc and Victorville to Beaumont, homosexuality was more rampant, was more acceptable. Like they have it everywhere. They have it everywhere, but on the West Coast, it's more low key, and a lot of the gangs out on the West Coast don't really green light that shit with their homies. But when you get on a yard where there's a lot of DC dudes, it's almost like anything goes. So when you come to Beaumont, when you come out of R&D, you got to walk through this sidewalk, but it's fenced. All the yards are split up now. They're all fenced off. When you're walking through the yard, through this fence, everybody in the yard can see who's coming off the bus. So when they see the newcomers come off the bus, everybody's running through the fence and they're hitting you up. Hey man, what's up, man? Where you from? Who you run with? And you're declaring yourself. Oh yeah, I'm a TS, or I'm an MA, or I'm a Norteños. Those were the Mexicans that were allowed to represent their family and their gang in Beaumont. Or if you're black, you might be a GD, a Vice Lord, Crip, or Blood. So at the end of the fence, there's a gate. The cops pop the gate, and the people that you declaring yourself with, they're gonna come and be like, yeah, hey, this is the homie, whatever, what unit you're going to. They'll take you up to the unit, introduce you to one of their homeboys in the block, so we can help you get situated and all that. But also, when these people are walking through the gate, we're out there and we're looking, and we had an ongoing thing with me and my homeboys where we're betting like, okay, who's gonna get turned out and how long before he gets turned out. In Beaumont, when you're coming through that sidewalk and you look like you got some sugar in your tank, somebody's gonna get at you. No ifs and ands. Even if you don't play that shit, if you look like you might play that shit, somebody is gonna come and get at you, right? So they had this youngster, he was in another block. And so the story is told to me by my homeboy Rudy that he lived in upstairs from me. I lived in CA, he lived in CB. In my unit, there was only like maybe 4 or 5 DC, but in the unit upstairs in CB, there was a whole group of them. But it wasn't just the DC, the Carolina, the Florida dudes, the Texas dudes, and even the TS. They all dip and dab in that field, right? And they're always, you know, in a confrontation over these boys. So we had a dude come through the walk, and we're like, "Oh, how long do you think before he gets turned out?" This and that. It became like a ongoing joke, you know. So they had this young kid come in there. He went upstairs. I'm not sure which car he rode in, but when we got into the block, and like again, I don't know how many time transpired before the incident, but a DC dude pulled up on him and was like, "Hey, what's up, Slim?" It's like, "What you need?" I said, "Hey, man, I got a locker full of groceries. I got stamps. I got whatever you need. I got you. You know what I mean? Just come in and get what you need anytime." And again, for me, I can't fathom that his homeboy, whoever his homeboy was, didn't hit him to the rules, because anybody that comes on the yard, we all get laced with the rules. And the rules, and the reason we lace you with there's a reason why we lace you with the rules, because we've seen things transpire when people don't follow the rules. Conduct yourself a certain way, or you're gonna get hurt, and that's just the way it is. So this kid, for some reason, ended up thinking that this DC dude was his friend. So through the course of however many weeks or however many months, he's over there kicking it with the dude. The dude let him, "Hey man, you can come in my locker anytime, get whatever you need," and all the rest. So he started having a habit of going in there, grabbing some soups or some sausage, cooking it up or whatever, and the rest of it. So one day, the DC dude comes and say, "Hey, Slim, you've been in my locker a lot. You know what I mean? And that shit costs money." And because the DC dude ran a store, and in the store, when you run a store in a penitentiary, if you buy something from commissary that costs $1, you sell it in your unit for $1.50. You put 50% on top of whatever it is that cost you coming out of commissary. That's another way for people to hustle in there. So after a few weeks or a few months or whatever, the DC dude's like, "Hey, Slim, you've been in my locker a lot, man, and I've been keeping track," and gave him a list. And he's like, "Hey, this is what you owe me." But that youngster, he was under an impression that dude was his friend, and that it was open house, that he could come and go and get what he need whenever he wanted or whatever. But the DC dude was a big dude, and so when the DC dude presented him with the receipt, with the invoice of all the stuff he's been taking and how much he owes him, the youngster was like, "Man, I ain't got no money. I can't pay you." And he wanted to, like, he got scared, and he wanted to, like, run, like, go check in. But DC's like, "No, no, 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 no." It's like, "Oh, you can pay me." It's like, "How?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll tell you how you can pay me." And, you know, for me, it's like, I've had, I had an easier time in the penitentiary than a lot of people. And I had it easy because I insisted on it. I made up my mind how I was going to do my time. But some people, when they come in, like I said, they're just trying to survive, man. They've never been locked up before. They get placed in a hostile environment, and they're looking for security and safety. And a lot of these guys, they attach themselves to groups for protection, or individuals because the dude is big or because he looks scary and got respect or whatever reason they attach themselves to it so that people can see that, oh yeah, I'm around this dude, this crazy ass dude, don't fuck with me because this dude's gonna get on your ass, type of shit. But they don't, like, I really don't know how to explain it because I don't know why you're not conscious of it, because I'm sure by the time you were in the county jail until you hit the prison, you've already heard all the different crazy ass stories and stuff to kind of prepare your psyche for the environment that you're going into. So now he owes this dude money, this DC dude in CB, and he don't got the money. You know, he thought he had it made. He was going in out of the dude's cell, going to his locker, cooking up food and all the rest of it. Well, now it's time to pay up, but you ain't got no money. So a DC dude told him, oh yeah, you can pay me. I'll tell you how you can pay me. And took him in the room. You know, and the rumor and the story that was told to me, it wasn't just that one particular DC. They took him in the room. After he got done doing what he got done doing, 3 or 4 more dudes were in that room. So the next time I see this kid, he's hanging out with, they had a crew out there. They had this Samoan dude named Jamie that came on the yard that was gay and kind of like ran the gay car, right? They had a group of them. There were so many of them over there. They had their own car, right? So the next time I see him, he's hanging out with them. And I asked one of the homies, I was like, man, what happened over there? Because, you know, we seen him coming off the bus, you know, and for me at the time, I didn't notice any sugar in his tank, so it kind of was like shocking to me to see him run around with dudes. And that's when I was told the story that I just told you. Said, yeah, he was upstairs, hanging out with the DC dude, getting shit out of his locker, and didn't have no money to pay. So the DC dude told him, hey, this is how you're gonna pay. And after that, he became somebody's property, their property. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit goes on in prison, man. And if you ever find yourself there, or if you know anybody that's there now, let them know. Don't accept any gifts. Don't accept any candies from anybody that ain't your homeboy. Because at the end of the day, everybody knows there is nothing free in life. You might think somebody's your homeboy, but the whole time he's setting you up. When somebody is too friendly with you, that has no reason to be, you gotta be wary of that. These predators, they have their system in place. They've been doing it a long time. And the thing they try to do is to get you in debt to them. You know, they loan you money. Oh, you need something slim? What you need? Oh, here. Knowing that you don't have no resources to pay them back. But their intention is not to get paid back with money or commissary. Their intention is to get you in debt. And once you're in debt with them, you're at their mercy. Because now they're gonna like want their money. And if you ain't got it, they're gonna crush you, stab you, kill you, or fuck you. And a lot of time it's the latter. So the moral of the story is don't accept gifts from strangers. There's no such thing as free. Nothing in life is free. When somebody's offering you something that ain't your homeboy, guaranteed there's strings attached. And sometimes those strings are attached to some things that you might not be ready for. Welcome to the USP.